Hey guys, what you're looking here is an iBook G3 500 megahertz model from 2001. This is one of the earlier, one of the models that where they decided to, instead of the clamshell design that everyone seems to like, they went to more of a generic design, which they carried on with the G4 and the MacBooks that came out in 2006, something like that. But yeah, let's take a walk around this G3. I'll start with the left side. On the left, you got your line in, your or phone line that is, and your internet connection, FireWire, which you won't find on most designs. Two USB ports. They are not high-speed ports. They are regular USB ports. Display port, a headphone jack, and that's your reset button. That resets your iBook. You have a speaker right there. On the front, you have a little latch that basically you press the button and it will open the latch. On the right side, you got your tray. Older iBooks, the G3s, and some of the older Apple laptops had the tray model like every laptop would have, although these days finding a tray would not have these. And this is your power connector. It's like a headphone jack sort of design. The G4 uses the same connector. When they went to MacBooks, they switched it to MagSafe connection, which I think was the smart choice, although they pretty much got rid of it these days with the newer MacBooks. Now there's the battery right there. When it's charging, this would flash, although I have to have this plugged in because the battery life on this battery, I need to get a replacement battery. And a couple of the rubber feet are missing. This came like that when I found it at the thrift shop for only $30. This, you remove the battery like this and replace it with another battery. This is the original Apple battery, or not iBook battery. I almost called it a MacBook. It's not a MacBook, it's an iBook. And let's set this back in. There we are. Now let's go ahead and open the lid, which some of you were screaming, open the lid already. Okay. Yeah, the hinge on mine is very tight for some reason. You got your keyboard right there, trackpad, your touch click button, and your keys right here. On a G3, the keyboard is clear on a silver palm rest. You got your two speakers right here and a power button right there. You could put a G4 keyboard if you wanted to. I don't know if it would work or not. It would look kind of interesting. But other than that, you got your function keys right here. To right click, you hold control and click. Let's go ahead and fire the iBook in action. I'm just going to go ahead and skip booting up and do a jump cut. So if you want to see the iBook boot up, please watch someone else's video. I just want to show off the functions and stuff. Actually, before we get into that, let's open the keyboard and show you what model this is. I already did the latch before on hand. I have the airport card in here. I'll get into that in a moment. This has a 500 megahertz processor. This originally had 64 megabyte, but I upgraded to a 128 megabyte stick, or it was a 250. I basically checked on every Mac.com and went for the highest capacity memory for the RAM. And it says CD, not DVD, because this is a CD drive, not a DVD drive. If you try popping in a DVD movie, it will just spit it back out. Plus, the firmware on here does not work with the functions to play DVD. I tried getting it to run, it doesn't want to for whatever reason. And this has a 10 gigabyte hard drive. Back in 2000 that was pretty big, but these days people want bigger. So Let's make sure all the keys are seated properly. Other than that, let's go ahead and power the unit again. Time for a jump cut. Okay, sorry about that jump cut. I had to do a jump cut for two reasons. Number one, this is slowish, but number two, there was a phone call in the way and I didn't want it to interfere with the video, so yeah. But other than that, I think you know how these iBooks boot up. If you want to see it boot up normally, please watch someone else's video. On the applications here, before we get into that, let me go ahead and open up About This Mac. So we'll actually pull it up. The version I have, oh, I was way off on memory. I have 576 megabytes of memory in here. It originally came with 64, but I upgraded to the maximum it could take. I have 10.0.3. It has a PowerPC G3. The highest this iBook can take is 10.4.1 or 10.4 is what I checked on everymac.com. And I do have the disc for it, but it's in a DVD format, and this thing takes CDs only. Let me show you what happens when I... Here's the eject button in action. See, it has an old tray design, which some people like. Others prefer the slot-in design that Apple's been using for quite some time. Even if their newer MacBooks don't have a built-in drive, they use the Super Drive, which plugs into the side and does the job just fine. In fact, I actually have ordered this is a 10.4 disc as mentioned earlier, and whenever I try to install it into the iBook, it's supposed to, read the disc, but this is a DVD format, and if you try putting it in here, this is what happens. Watch what happens, it just spits it back out. See? It does not work with DVD format. It only works with CDs. So, luckily I do have a CD format to prove that it does work. A friend of mine's letting me borrow this. It's a StarCraft expansion set. He has the actual StarCraft, but I think you can figure that out. So, let's go ahead and pop this in the disk and tray, and let's see if it runs. See, it's reading just fine, just to prove that it does read the disc as CD format. Let's go ahead and close out of that. See, reads just fine. I probably should have used an audio CD for this, but oh well. Let me go ahead and show you some other settings here. I'm going to go ahead and eject the disc. Proof that it does work. I also tested one of my Pokemon CDs on it, and it worked just fine. Let's go ahead and go to System Preferences and show you that it does in fact work. You get Show All, Display, Sound, Network, Startup Disk. Let's go to Startup Disk. Now, you can choose to go for 10.0.3 or you can choose to start with Classic or the newer one. Now, I don't know how to get this to upgrade to a newer. Yeah, I had to switch to 10.0.3 because 9.1 is confusing. But other than that, as you can tell, I tried getting DVD player on here. It was able to successfully appear on here, but the thing is, this does not work with a DVD or CD drive, and yeah, you need the DVD drive for this to work. But other than that, let me show you the display. And the reason why I actually want to upgrade to a newer firmware on here. But to tell you the truth, I'm not going to keep this iBook any longer because this is actually going to go to a friend. Him and I are going to make a trade. He's got this old Dell Inspiron laptop, which I put Linux on it for him, and he wants to play StarCraft. This is the expansion set that he's letting me demonstrate for the video. And yeah, so he's going to get the StarCraft expansion set, and he has the original StarCraft. But yeah, so I tested the expansion set. I'm pretty sure the original one will work with StarCraft. I mean, I know the 8-bit guy made a video on playing StarCraft, the first one, on iBook G4, so chances are the G3 will work as well. But other than that, I informed him what the flaws with this is. If anyone knows how to get the with 10.0.4 to connect to Wi-Fi, please make a YouTube video on how, because I'm having trouble. So other than that, that's all I wanted to show with you. And don't ask me to connect to the internet. I will tell you, connecting it wired does work, but for some reason the airport card, which does work, by the way, it read it just fine, it will not connect to my Wi-Fi because I'm having trouble settings with this. So if anyone out there who has one of these and was able to do with the older settings or older firmware and was able to get it to work, or if you know how to get newer software from DVD to work on an iBook G3, please let me know, because I really want to get this up and running with the newer, latest firmware it can take. Although I'm not sure if the person who was asking this wants it, but other than that, yeah. So thanks for watching. I just wanted to share with you the iBook G3. Sorry I didn't show much about it, but other than that, thanks for watching. This is Keep Reading 25 signing off.